Hey everyone, welcome to the Curious Girl Diaries podcast. I'm Layla London, aka The Curious Girl. Now, just to let you know, this podcast is not suitable for work. It's also not suitable for anybody under 18. But the rest of you consenting adults, let's get ready to talk about my sex life, sex in general, and everything in between in explicit, raunchy, fun detail. All right, here we go. And at that point, it really was just a bucket list item. Why am I being called out on this? Why do I have to have an answer for this? I don't even like what you're saying to me. I wasn't ready for the reaction because I just didn't know. I just thought, oh my God, did I just fuck this up and push him away? All right, everyone, I'm going to jump right in. This, for me right now, is a super hot topic. I don't think I've disclosed it to the fullest extent. The amount of questions, comments, emails, direct messages, things I get about the whole subject of submission, submissiveness. Everybody's got an opinion on where I stand on that. Everybody that listens to this podcast that somehow finds me, they weigh in on it. There's no way you can do this. You're not that person, to the judginess of it. I mean, really harshly just, saying you can't, trying to tell me how this should go, you can't be doing what you're doing and you either are, you aren't. It's crazy. But I've kept this one off the radar for as long as I can because I've been pestered enough about it. And I got prompted to go back and listen to. It made me curious, made the curious girl curious. I went back and I re-listened to the little podcast I did on Can I Be Submissive? And that was it's posted here on April 26th. Now I don't remember if that was the actual, sounds about right from the time frame, but because I had the old website and I migrated things over, I think that April 26th of last year, that would have been about right. That sounds about right, yeah. So we're talking about, here it is, roll the clock forward here. I guess roughly maybe a year and a half later, roughly. April, we're in October. So close enough, somewhere around there. You get the gist. At any rate, I went back and listened to that. I would suggest you go back and listen to that. If you haven't listened to it before, go listen to it before you listen to this. It's called Can I Be Submissive? If you have, go back and listen to it again because there's been a lot of shit in the meantime, right? Well, just to go back and listen to that is shocking to me. I'm like, whoa. First of all, just where I was in that moment. And I guess I really didn't realize how much I've kind of evolved and moved forward from that one point, like that time where I was just like, Jesus Christ, I'm struggling with this. I just don't even know. And at that point, it really was just a bucket list item. Try this, have a little fun. It's more of a role play, get in there. I don't want to say act it out, but just, just go through the motions. And then you can say, okay, check, I've done that. And then as I started to do it and do it more and more, I'm liking it, but I'm not really sure, is this for me? And you can hear the whole, the whole struggle that I was going through in the very, very beginning, to me, it just when I went back and listened to it, I went, holy shit. I have come a long way. I really have, but I'm still not there. And that's kind of surprising to me. It's still something that I'm just, it's like, it's like a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not the destination. It's just the journey along the way. And I know that sounds all cliche and all that shit, but trust me, for me, that's the best way to put it. Because if you go back and you listen to that, and if you listen carefully to everything I've said and the evolution that I've been through since that, it's really for me. It's really fascinating. I mean, I gotta say, just as a side note, if anybody ever gets the chance to just document themselves doing anything, I don't care if it's sexual, I don't care what the subject matter is, like over an extended period of time like this, you're gonna be, it's fucking interesting and fascinating to be able to have preserved where you were at a moment in time, and then have so much time go by and be able to look back, listen to it or replay it or whatever it is in retrospect. It's pretty powerful. So at any rate, I'm just listening to that going, whoa, how different things are for me now. How much now I realize, versus back then, it's just a struggle of like, well, can I even go deeper with this? To now the struggle is, wow, I just didn't realize, like this has been a part of me the whole time. And I kind of never really realized it. This took the door kind of flying open for this to be, for me to be able to just draw the conclusions, I guess, that I need to draw or understand about it. But, and it's, and because of that, as I've said, I know, moving forward, there's just going to be guys that I can be with and cannot be with. And it's changed my, I guess, trajectory a bit, or also even the, just types of guys that are appealing and not appealing now. It's quite fascinating. But let me get into, that's a big long preamble there. Let me get into the kind of the meat and potatoes of this podcast. I there's so much that, and I haven't put it out there, about the feedback I get, the opinions I get, the criticisms I get, and then the encouragement that I get about my whole interest in the BDSM play. And I don't know that I've never found such a divisive subject, and everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's like, you got to do it this way, or you got to do it that way, or, you can't toe dip, you got to be all in. It's either who you are, it's not who you are. And I'm still figuring it out. It's not clear to me. So that's the interesting part. And I do get let's kind of jump right in here and address just the flat out criticism and what I call like the BDSM snobs or whatever. I mean, shit, pick a subject and somebody's gonna want to fucking rake you over the coals over it. But for some reason, a lot of people just feel like you're not allowed to find your way that's right for you. Now, I don't really particularly care about that point of view, but I would like to kind of, since I don't address those people individually, I would like to address it once and for all and just kind of say, yes, I absolutely do have a right to explore, uncover, experiment, and figure out what works for me. That's great if you just came out of the womb, knowing that that's who you are. Good on you. I'm not faulting you for that. I'm not criticizing that. I'm not saying, well, maybe you should try some other things. How do you really know? I'm not getting in there, getting all up in your business because I don't care. But for me, this is something that I'm a little late to the game, I guess, if you want to call it that. And so because I'm late to the game, I'm a little more set in my ways on some issues, and I'm figuring it out. But I really have come a long way with it. I couldn't even talk about it. I remember when I listened to the Can I Be Submissive podcast, I was having a physical reaction to talking about it. I literally felt like this cannot be who I am. I mean, like, it's just, I remember at the time I was thinking, I just want to do this to have the experience, and I really want to have the full experience. And so I need to get relaxed and get into a mindset and, in order to let that happen and, kind of almost like be somebody that I'm not. But I didn't actually have to be somebody that I wasn't. I just had to be more of who I was. And that's why I was so fucking resistant to it. That's why I'm, having this, when I was talking about it at the time, I mean, I literally my throat was tightening. I was just like, I was getting anxiety. It was making me anxious. And trying to wrestle in my mind, like, well, how do I rectify this? How do I make sense of the fact that I'm successful, driven, and totally dominant in all these other aspects of my life, but then I'm gonna then just hand this over like it's nothing, and and be weak, because for me, like the W word, weak, that's a sickening term. I don't want to be weak. That's if I sense weakness in somebody, I mean, in my modus operandi, in my day-to-day business and operations, and just sort of even parts of my personality, if I find that chink in your armor, I'm almost gonna exploit it like it's a disgusting thing that you have, and I've got to rid you of it. I've got to rid you of it or bury you with it. And I know that sounds really harsh, but I'm being super honest. And so, to then like try to put all this together and make, in my head and emotionally, and then and physically, right? Because you're doing this act with your physical body. I was like fucking freaking out. And I listened to that, and I can still remember that moment. I remember that conversation that I had with Cowboy, and I remember just sitting there in the bed with him and like like, him just, like, hitting on some points, and I was all I could think about was literally was, um, be okay, be very polite right now, but and you're sitting here, like, stark naked. You wanna get up and you wanna get your clothes on. You don't wanna make a big deal about it because you need to just hear what he's saying for a second and then find a way to reasonably transition into you getting your fucking ass out the door and in the car. I swear to God. I was just like, either that or I'm just going to, this is so awkward for me right now. And it wasn't, again, it's not about him. I mean, he's just like, he doesn't have a problem just saying it. I had a problem hearing it. I had a problem at the time because I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? Why am I being called out on this? Why do I have to have an answer for this? I don't even like what you're saying to me. I don't like what you're suggesting. So anyway, but since that time and since that podcast, there's just been this ongoing, and the more I talk about it, there's been this ongoing diatribe in the background of, responders and people that chime in and the things that they say. And again, like I said, to where it's just, it's the full A to Z. You are not that person and you cannot do it. Like, what are you thinking? You're not submissive. That's not who you are. To the other end of the spectrum, very positive, very supporting, and then, and then, and then the judgy judgers, like right there in the middle. And that's kind of where the big swing is that, a lot of people are, I think because it's such a part of them and it's so important to them, or, it's really who they are. Maybe they're feeling like they don't want it bastardized by someone like me coming along and, uh, saying, well, this is just a bucket list item and I just want to try this out and gee whiz, won't this be great? And then I'll check it off and move on. So to them I say, oh, I get that. And initially, yes, that's kind of what I was thinking. However, I've certainly learned something much more and deeper about it. And so now trying to, so if we're going from that point to where I am now, where now I'm really wanting to kind of step on the gas with it a little bit. And I'm wanting to step on the gas, but I don't truthfully know where my boundaries are. I still don't know where my boundaries are. That was a question that was given to me a year and a half ago. I still don't know. And I do want to be pushed. I do want to be pushed. But I think I'm also understanding better why someone doesn't want to push me that hard. Probably not a good idea, right? Just generically speaking. But then also, as I mentioned I don't know if it's in a previous podcast, I don't know if it's the one before directly before this one or the one prior, the one two podcasts before. With my dealings with Clark and starting to understand him, and then kind of a light bulb going off, like, oh, I don't want to push him either. There's things that I just have not been I mean, when we went through this little thing where I saw the emotional side of me putting, making them aware of the, if I'm getting ready for a date and the guys I'm going out with and what I'm going to be doing, and then telling him all about it and making him listen to it and blah, 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 just all this stuff. And that, and then when I saw the reaction, I was like, whoa, I wasn't ready for the reaction because I just didn't know. Like, I just thought, oh my gosh, did I just fuck this up and push him away? Like, did I just ruin this? And not in a, not in a good way, but just like, also, did I hurt him? Like, is this too much for him? And I'm not trying to guess at why, um, I'm not trying to go too guess too deeply into why, someone doesn't want to push me, but I I get it. I get where the hesitation is. But now I'm like, fucking push me. God damn it. I'm pissed. Now I'm getting irritated. I'm like, God, I need, I need something. Uh, I need a shocker. I need a new level, a layer. I mean, I guess I feel like I've had I've toe dipped, then I had my training wheels on, and I've been slowly kind of progressing and getting deeper with it and more comfortable. It's becoming more ingrained in me. I'm more accepting of it. I understand myself better in that mode and how it relates to me and why I need that. And so now I'm like, okay, push me farther. And it's just funny to be now on the opposite end of the spectrum where I'm like, whoa, don't fucking push me. I can't even talk about this shit. Don't even, you give me one simple sentence. Don't ask me a direct question about it because I'm gonna, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be bolting out the door, half naked, barely dressed. Just let me get in my car and run on home, to, you know, I'm gonna, yeah, I want to be push. Where do you think your limit is? Push me like right up to it. Push me to the point you think you're going to be uncomfortable with pushing me. So, anyway, that's just like, that's where I'm at with this. And, do I consider myself do I consider myself a sub? No, no. And will I ever? I don't know. I mean, maybe I will get to that point. I don't know. It's still ongoing. Hey, at this pace, it's not reasonable to think I'll have this answer before the end of the year. I probably won't. Hopefully by then I'll have a little bit more understanding and maybe a few more experiences with it, and that are on the boundary, are pushing the boundary. But, you know, I for me, I'm a marathon girl, I'm a distance runner. I will take my time, and however long it takes me to get there is however long it takes me to get there. I just want to get there. I just want to figure it out. I want to have an answer to it. be able to draw some conclusions, because I'll tell you, I don't know. I feel like if I don't have that piece, it'll always be a big question mark, and I don't want it lingering and running in the background as I move on, in my relationships, as to like, is that still a part of me that always needs to be satisfied? Could I be, with a guy that's not dominant? Is it something I'm just going to get out of my system, or is it really kind of, who I am now to some degree, that I need that dominance, that I need that power exchange, aggression, just and it, or even just that type of person with me sexually, whether or not we're, because it's not always it's not always aggressive, sometimes it's not, but it's a little bit, let me use my words carefully here. It's just, I think for me, it's a little more raw, exposed, pure, uh, deeper, because I just naturally approach it without a boundary up or a wall up. And that for me is easier to do. I'm not saying that I always do that with everybody, that, and when I'm not in that kind of that role, but it's easy. That's easier for me to do when it's not that type of dynamic, because that type of dynamic just sort of demands that, hey, that bullshit has to get left at the door. You can't. It doesn't work. So it kind of automatically just gets rooted out, and it took a long time for me to get past that. But now, where I guess the point I'm at is like, I don't even have to start with that. That's not even there anymore, when in a sexual act, regardless of how it's going to play out. It's just not there anymore. So, but it can be, and it is actually, I would say this, it is with, in other dynamics. So, hope that's not being vague. Hope that's clear. That, I'm probably still more of my guarded self, or the potential's higher for me to be, to allow that to be in the driver's seat. So, this question, the question I was trying to answer back on April 26th of 2017, or, what was rolling through, it's like, can I do this? Can I be submissive? And I think the answer, the answer is yes, I can be submissive in the bedroom in a sex act. Can I live like that 24/7? No, no, mm-mm, no. I know that. That I know. I can absolutely be do it sexually, but my understanding of like a 24/7 thing is, you know, I don't know if I can flip that switch fast enough. Like, do I want to be checking in with someone about my movements throughout the day, my whereabouts. Do I expect them to also, because there's a trade for that, right? They're also then in charge and they know that that's important to me and they need to be helping me with my, um, I guess, routine, like the predictability of a routine. I don't need that in my business life, in my daily life. I have an over amount of discipline in that area and focus. And what I need and what I like the most about this in a sexual way is I get to stop being the one that's in control and somebody else gets to do that. And I'm like, thank fucking God. It's so nice. And aside from being extremely a turn on and sexual and all that stuff, I mean, the relief of it as I've just come to discover I don't have to, I'm not struggling anymore. I'm like, oh, fuck, trust me, I just don't want this. You can have it. Here you go. Point. And I actually feel bad. I'm like, you have to be that way all the time. And I get to sometime and not all the time. I love it. That works wonderfully for me. Thank you very much. So that's so far the lane I'm in and the lane I've discovered. Am I going to change lanes? I don't know. But I do hope to go, the lane I'm in, I want to go deeper with it. I want to step on the gas. I want, again, to find the boundaries. That's kind of the next, sort of quest for me is, can I find the boundary? Where are my limits? Where are my limits? And is somebody going to push me there? I don't know. I mean, I don't think I can't find that without the other person, without the right person helping me get there. I just can't do it. It's just two. That is it. That takes two. So, it's possible that that just it won't work. I won't be able to do it, or for whatever reason, it's not going to happen. But I know that the finding the limits, that's a team approach. So I can't find my own limit on my own. I need help. Help. But God, I think about, I think about how close I was to not even exploring any of this, not even going down this road, because in the beginning, oh my Lord, I got approached by the biggest fucking posers, the doofus shit sticks on the planet, you name it. Unbelievable. How incredibly poor quality there is floating around out there. And it's just that, you can't, that is not the way it works. You just don't meet a total stranger and, start expecting this protocol to instantly be in place and that they've earned something from you that they are expecting something from you that they just haven't even earned yet. And that just takes, for me, it's going to be a long, long road before I give you a certain level of respect and trust. Trust is a biggie. That's the problem. That's the biggest hurdle here. It's the trust. And there's so many things that someone can do along the way to fuck that up. It's just, it's hard. It's hard to get that from me. Other people may give that more freely. I don't know. I can't speak to it. Can't say whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent. I can only tell you from my point of view, for me, it takes a while. And so someone's got to be patient and, and all that stuff. So, the next hurdle is the finding the boundaries. And I unfortunately, just still to this day, I mean, unfortunately or not unfortunately, however you want to look at it, I don't know. And please, I don't need any more goddamn emails or any more fucking anon comments or, and not when I say anon, anonymous little, things about, it's either are you aren't. Hey, there's no, you know what? Do you know who makes the rules about what goes on in my life? Me. Not you. Me. I decide what's best for me. So don't hit me with there's a big fucking manual rule book. There is not. And I'm allowed to explore this in the way that works best for me. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. But hopefully I continue to move it forward and kind of get to new levels, because what it does to me physically, just I'm going to wait to really, really summarize that. Because I've already talked about, how it's great that it shuts my mind off, and, that I just, it turns off all of the mental constipation, all the mental gyrations and things that you're normally going through. It's great. It's great. It's better than a freaking pill. I mean, it it literally boop, I mean, just shut your mind off. That to me is incredible. I found the secret, people. It's BDSM. It's just getting a submissive state. You'll love it. Anyway, so yes, it is a bit like a drug, and you will want it. You'll be wanting to ring-a-ling-a-ling that dealer all the time. You're just you will want it. But getting deeper with it, that's the next frontier for me. It's okay, I'm comfortable in that state. Now I'm comfortable. Now it's time to see how far I can go. How far down the rabbit hole. So I'll be trying like hell to figure that out by the end of the year. I don't know how much opportunity I'm going to have, but I'll be doing my best. So I just wanted to follow up. Again, if you have not ever listened to that Can I Be Submissive podcast, listen to it. And then think about all the times I've brought this up, all of the, and if you've really followed this podcast and like the evolution, it'll be really interesting, hopefully to you, as it has been to me, just like, whoa. I mean, how much I've changed on that. And the cute and the just it's been really one of the most impactful things that I've figured out, not the only thing, but one of them, it's up there on the list of, things that really have been so interesting about this whole road trip, this whole sexual road trip, this little, as I lovingly call it, social experiment. So, all right, well, I hope that kind of addresses that. Again, if you think this is just ridiculous, and if this submission, is a black and white thing for you, and I'm in the gray zone. I'm not really landing on one side of the fence or the other, and that drives you crazy. You have my permission to never listen to me again. Please go away. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor, because my eyeballs are bleeding when I read some of the bullshit that gets sent to me. And I just don't, I guess this is my loving, really kind, the nicest way I can say, thank you for your input and the brain cells that it took for you to conjugate over that, but it's really not necessary. Fuck you. In a nice way. Really, I have a big smile on my face right now, and a little kiss for you, for you. I just don't, I really don't need it. I don't need you can opine as much as you want. Just have that conversation with yourself in the mirror, debate it out, and, and you can win, because it'll be a one-sided convo, and go to bed happy. All right? All right. Thanks, everyone. Again, keep listening. I'm pushing it forward to the end of the year, and I'm going to do my best to put a lot of content out there. Okay, bye. Thanks so much for listening. And if you like what you hear, refer me to a friend. And make sure you're following me on social media. Also, go to the website, thecuriousgirldiaries.com, and join my subscribers only list for access to exclusive content. And as usual, questions or comments, you can always email me at curiousgirl@thecuriousgirldiaries.com.